George Ferocious Kambosos is now preparing for his next bout in Australia against Jordan. Should be a very good fight. I think it's gonna be on late March after the 20th. Should be like 22nd or something, 26th, in between those 2 dates. But George Kambosos was just discussing a lot of different things um about this Gervonta Davis fight he just had this weekend against Lamont Roach. And he spoke on the situation with the knee. And he was just saying, he took a knee in the fight. When you take a knee in the middle of a fight, that's a knockdown. And, every boxer I've heard talk about this situation have said the same thing, as far as the knee. Rarely something they see, especially in that situation, amateur or pros. And also, we haven't seen that much in women fights. So, if you really think about it. But he was just talking about if you take a knee in boxing, in the middle of the fight, that's a knockdown. For anybody. Man, if Tank would have hit somebody in the ribs or something, and they would have went down to a knee and then jumped back up, that would have been a knockdown for us. I would have called it a knockdown. So that's just how Kambosos is looking at it. He's like, anytime I've hurt somebody like that, or anytime somebody has reacted to that, some people react late to a body shot or anything, a jab, whatever. A lot of people react late. So, I've seen a lot of knockdowns where people have gotten hit, walked off, took a lot of steps back, then go to a knee. And I'm pretty sure Kambosos has been in way more situations than most boxers, or just as many. And he knows more than I do. So for him to speak on the situation and say, hey, that just has to be a knockdown at that point. And that's what we've seen it as all this time. And, most people agree with what he said. It was a knockdown, man. It was definitely a knockdown. If it would have been counted as a knockdown at that point, probably would have seen Tank Davis pressing a little more too. That would have turned that into a different fight. That's something that a lot of people don't mention. But even recently, when George Kambosos was getting hurt to the body by Lomachenko, he's been in that situation. He knows, hey, once your knee touch the ground or whatever, it's a wrap. And I told people recently, same thing with Ryan Garcia when he took a knee against Tank. As soon as that knee touches the ground, it goes against everything that somebody can do a timeout for and all that. It's past that at that point. Unless there's been an infraction that needs to be addressed and the fight needs to be halted at that point. But if it's not, rarely happens in boxing, man, to where a guy knee hits the ground. And I'm hearing people say, well, in the clinch, if a guy's pressing down on somebody, putting the weight down on them, and this happens every fight. Every fight you see in boxing, this happens. That's why I said a lot of people don't watch boxing, man. A lot of these people that's discussing these things, they don't watch boxing. They're bringing up clips of Crawford and other fighters taking a knee from weight. This guy went down in the fight or whatever. And the fights they're bringing up is fights where guys got stopped in. Even if they would have counted as a knockdown, somebody got knocked out at the beginning of that fight. This fight went 12 rounds. This fight went on the points. That's why it wasn't much of a big deal when that happened. And they just put specialized rules in place before this fight happened, as far as for replay and stuff like that. They just put specialized rules in for instant replay. So they just made rules just for a fight like this in New York. And now they're not supposed to look into it or go along with the rules that they just made. No, these people sound insane out here. So, and they just changed the rules? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be looked at regardless. But, yeah, good. I'm glad George Kambosos came out and spoke on. He usually has some great insight when it comes to boxing.